Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all in our third session of Basic Concept. I'm C. Ankit Sharma, your income tax faculty for the session, and I would like to ask that anyone interested to summarize the provisions what we have discussed in our last two sessions. So, in within 10 minutes or 6 or 5 or 6 minutes, if anyone wants to summarize the provisions, then let me know in the chat box. Okay, good evening, everyone. So, is there anyone who wants to summarize the provisions, what we have discussed in one and second sessions, in which there were introduction part, definitions, and the rate of taxes we have discussed? So, is there anyone who wants to discuss about that? Okay, if anyone, raise your hand. So, I will ask you to unmute, and then you can summarize those provision. Okay. So, before starting the class, let me tell you today we have to cover a lot of things like rebates provisions, surcharge provisions, marginal relief concept, agriculture income concept, test your knowledge questions, and MCQs, and some illustrations also. I believe you must be studying very hard to achieve the goal of your life to become a chartered accountant as soon as possible. So, as usual, before starting the class, let me share with you thought for the day, and that is one of my favorite thought. And when I was doing CA, so I read it somewhere, and this is one of my favorite quotation ever I have seen in my life. And it says there is a, so who wants to summarize? Let me see. Priyanka, you want to summarize? Okay. After this thought for the day, of course, I will ask the technical team to unmute you so you can summarize the provisions. Okay. There is no future in any job, but the future lies in the man, woman, of course, the person who holds the job. So you can see there would be a person who is a doctor, and maybe he is earning 1 lakh rupees in a month. And there would be a doctor that is earning 10 lakh rupees per a month. And there could be a doctor who is earning maybe 10 lakh in a day. So all are having same kind of qualification, but still their the way they explore their profession that matters. In the same way, there are different kinds of chartered accountants. Somebody is in practice, somebody is in job, somebody is earning 5 lakh rupees per month, somebody is earning 10 lakh rupees per month, and so on. So the degree is same, but it depends upon you how you explore this thing. So the way you explore that will define what will be the future of your that profession or qualification, what you possess. So I always believe in this that there is no future in any job, but the future lies in the person who holds that job. Okay. So Priyanka raised her hand. Priyanka, you want to summarize the provisions? So Manishji, can we unmute Priyanka?
गुड इवनिंग सर।
Good evening.
सर मैंने अभी प्रैक्टिस नहीं की, बस अभी मैं थोड़ा बताने की कोशिश करूँगा, जहाँ गलत होगा आप प्लीज रेक्टिफाई कर दीजिएगा।
जस्ट बेसिक तो आप थोड़ा सा कोशिश कीजिए कि बेसिक हमने अब तक क्या क्या चीजें हमने पढ़ ली हैं, डिटेल में
यस
नहीं
सर।
जाना है। यू हैव 6 or 7 or 8 minutes in which I just wanted a simple recap of the provisions. Okay, go ahead, Priyanka.
सर सर फर्स्टली कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ इनकम टैक्स लॉ, जिसमें हमारा होता है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961, जो कि होल ऑफ इंडिया पे एप्लीकेबल है। इसमें सेक्शन है 1 to 298 एंड शेड्यूल्स है 1 to 14। एंड देन होता है फाइनेंस, एनुअल फाइनेंस एक्ट 2024 हमारे लिए एप्लीकेबल है। फिर इनकम टैक्स रूल्स 1962 है। देन सर्कुलर्स एंड नोटिफिकेशंस इशूड होते हैं, एंड सम लीगल डिसीजंस ऑफ कोर्ट भी रहता है इन केस हमें कुछ फाइनलाइज नहीं कर पाते तो। एंड प्रोविजोस जो होते हैं वो एक्सेप्शंस एंड कंडीशंस होता है, एंड एक्सप्लेनेशंस हमें क्लैरिफिकेशन देता है। सर्कुलर्स जो होता है वो सर सीबीडीटी इशू करती है। ये हमारे प्रॉब्लम्स और कोई डाउट्स होते हैं उसको क्लैरिफाई करती है। सर्कुलर्स जो है डिपार्टमेंट को बाउंड करता है, और नोटिफिकेशंस सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इशू करता है, एंड ये एसएससी और डिपार्टमेंट दोनों को बाउंड करता है। फिर हमने सर चार्जिंग सेक्शन 4 देखा था, जिसमें हम कंप्यूटेशन ऑफ इनकम देखे थे, जिसमें कि रेजिडेंशियल स्टेटस पहले देखना होता है, फिर 5 हेड्स ऑफ इनकम कैलकुलेट करते हैं, देन फिर क्लबिंग ऑफ इनकम, देन फिर सेट ऑफ एंड कैरी फॉरवर्ड एंड सेट ऑफ लॉसेस। उससे हमारा फिर जीटीआई आता है, फिर हम उसमें से डिडक्शंस माइनस करते हैं, तो हमारा टोटल इनकम आता है, जिसके ऊपर हम टैक्स लगाते हैं। और एप्लीकेबल सरचार्ज, रिबेट एंड मार्जिनल रिलीफ जो भी केस होता है उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम उस पर कैलकुलेट करते हैं। फिर हेल्थ एंड एजुकेशन सेस लगाते हैं 4% से, तो इससे हमारा टोटल टैक्स लायबिलिटी जिसको हम कंपेयर करते हैं अल्टरनेट मिनिमम टैक्स से। फिर उसके बाद हमारा टैक्स पेबल या टैक्स रिफंडेबल होता है, उसके बाद हम कहीं जाके रिटर्न ऑफ इनकम फाइल करते हैं। देन फिर हमने इंपॉर्टेंट डेफिनेशंस देखी थी सर एसएससी की। एसएससी जो है वो पर्सन है जो कोई टैक्स पे कर रहा है या कोई भी ऐसा अमाउंट किसी के बिहाफ पे या खुद के बिहाफ पे गवर्नमेंट को पे कर रहा है। फिर हमने असेसमेंट ईयर देखा था जो कि फाइनल में आएगा, पर उसमें ये होता है कि हमारी इनकम को एसेस किया जाता है कि कितना हमने अर्न किया है, उस पर टैक्स कितना पे किया है। फिर हमने डेफिनेशन देखी थी पर्सन्स की जिसमें इंडिविजुअल, एचयूएफ, कंपनी, फर्म, एओपी, बीओआई, एलएलपी एंड लोकल अथॉरिटी एंड एजीपी कवर्ड होते हैं। इंडिविजुअल जो हमारे नेचुरल पर्सन्स होते हैं। एचयूएफ में हमने दो दो चीजें देखी थी, एक दया भाग एंड मिताक्षरा स्कूल। दया भाग में हम दया भाग जो है वेस्ट बंगाल एंड असम पे एप्लीकेबल है। यहाँ पे पार्टीशन जो है फादर के डेथ के बाद क्लेम कर सकते हैं। मिताक्षरा में बाय बर्थ हम पार्टीशन और प्रॉपर्टी में राइट के लिए एप्लीकेबल होते हैं। ये रेस्ट ऑफ द इंडिया एप्लीकेबल है। फिर इन सर बाकी पर्सन्स की भी सारी चीजें बतानी है।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, आपने ऐसे बताया ना, पर्सन में डेफिनेशंस बताई गई है उन लोगों की जो इनकम टैक्स में एज अ पर्सन कवर्ड होते हैं, एंड जो पर्सन की डेफिनेशन में आते हैं उनको इनकम टैक्स कंप्लाइंसेस जनरली करने पड़ते हैं। आपने बिल्कुल ठीक बताया, बिल्कुल शॉर्ट में ही बताना था। अब ये काम करते हैं, महालक्ष्मी ऑल्सो रेज्ड हर हैंड, तो पर्सन की डेफिनेशन के बाद हमने जो समझा है, let Mahalakshmi wants to explain, so let her give an opportunity and she will explain the further provisions. Very well done, Priyanka. I really appreciate that. Okay.
थैंक यू सर। सर इसके बाद हमारी इंडिया की डेफिनेशन स्टार्ट हुई थी।
हाँ हाँ, अब उसके वहां से महालक्ष्मी स्टार्ट करेंगे। सो महालक्ष्मी, you want to explain the provision or the recap we have done? So can we unmute Mahalakshmi?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mahalakshmi.
Sir, uh, sir, there are some exception to the there are some exception which is shipping business of the non-resident person living in India and AOP or BOI which particular event which are made for the particular event and person who are likely to transfer his assets to avoid the tax discounting containing business which are which are this exemption which will be taxed that year only, not on the previous year. And some incomes there are not fixed tax rates which are unexplained investment, unexplained money, amount of investment which are not fully disclosed and which are unexplained expenditure, amount borrowed or repaid on hundi. And there are there are two taxes regimes. One is default tax regime, another one is optional tax regime, and we can adopt in both regime any one of the regime. And in for the individual there is a minimum there a tax is on above to 2.5 lakhs, and for the who are more than 60 years senior citizen, the for that 3 lakhs, and for above 80 years his income above 5 lakhs we will levy taxes. And in default tax 87A under section we will rebate up to 12,500, and for the
Default
default tax regime 7 lakh
up to 7 lakh. The
is there.
limit is maximum 25,000. Well
And
done.
for
Very well done, Mahalakshmi. Very well done. So you have seen that Mahalakshmi and Priyanka explained the provision or summarized the provision we have gone through in last two sessions. And today we will start from the rebate concept, which has been left from the last session regarding the section 115 BAC. Okay, so get set, go. So there were two regimes, of course. Optional tax regime rebate concept is very simple, and it says if your total income is up to 5 lakh rupees, then you can claim the rebate of tax or 12,500 rupees, whichever is lower. So maximum rebate can be 12,500 rupees in any case. Under default tax regime, there are two concepts of rebate. The first concept is similar to optional tax regime, but the total income is, if your total income is up to 7 lakh rupees, then you can claim rebate of maximum 25,000 under default tax regime. Same 25,000 or the tax, whichever is lower. So that means it cannot exceed 25,000. But I have told you in the last session that there's a very interesting concept in respect of rebate under default tax regime. And that is it we are going to discuss right now. The second case says under default tax regime, look how beautifully it has been drafted. It says under default tax regime, we just studied that up to 7 lakh, there would be rebate concept. So a normal provision would be in your mind that if my income is exceeding 7 lakh rupees, so I cannot claim the rebate. Same is case of optional tax regime. Suppose someone income is 5 lakh and 100 rupees. So there would not be any rebate. No rebate would be there. Clear? But in case of default tax regime, even if your total income exceeding 7 lakh rupees, then it might be possible that you can claim rebate also. Up to 7 lakh, you will get a rebate for sure, up to rupees 25,000 maximum. But even if your income is exceeding 7 lakh rupees in case of default tax regime, there might be an opportunity that you can claim rebate still in this regime. And how it would be, how we need to calculate it. So there are three steps. If your total income is exceeding in case of default tax regime, then do not think that you are not eligible for rebate benefit. There could be rebate. You have to find out with these 3 points what we are going to see over here. So even if your income is exceeding 7 lakh rupees, the step number 1 is saying, step 1 saying total income. You have to calculate total income which has been given in question less 7 lakh rupees. This is step you need to follow. Suppose in the question total income has been given 7 lakh 10,000. So step 1 says what we need to calculate the total income which has been given in question, reduce 7 lakh rupees from that total income. So 7 lakh 10,000 minus 7 lakh, how much it would be? 10,000. So A point would be 10,000. Now B point says now you need to calculate tax on your total income which has been given in question. In our question, the total income has been given in the question is 7 lakh 10,000. So how much would be the tax on this income? So up to 3 lakh rupees, nil taxability. We have gone through with these provision. The next 4 lakh rupees, the tax rate is 5%. So that means tax would be 20,000. And above 7 lakh, the income is 10,000. And the tax rate is above 7 lakh is 10%. So that means the tax would be 21,000 rupees. So please be careful in the examination. We generally remind this provision number 1 in the examination that even if income is up to rupees 7 lakh, you can claim the rebate. So there is a misconception that if income exceeding 7 lakh, so there would not be rebate under section 115 BAC. No, that is not correct. There is a chance that even if your income is exceeding 7 lakh rupees, you are eligible to get a rebate. And for that purpose, you have to make this calculation. Total income, reduce 7 lakh rupees. This is fixed step you have to follow. Whatever total income has been given in question, put it over here, reduce 7 lakh rupees out of it. And that would be called A. In our example, it's 10,000. Then calculate tax on total income, which has been given in question. So in our question, income is 7 lakh 10,000. We have calculated the tax as per the slab rate. It is 21,000. Now C step, it says if B is more than A, if B is exceeding A, if B is more than A, if B is greater than A, if B is higher than A, if yes. So if yes, then you will get a rebate. And if no, there would not be any rebate. No rebate. In our example, you will see that B is 21,000. And of course, the A value is 10,000. So this is applicable that yes, B is exceeding A. And the provision says if B is exceeding A, then rebate would be calculated as follows. Then rebate would be B minus A. Or we can say the excess would be the rebate. If B is greater than A, then the excess would be automatically the rebate. So in our question, 21,000 minus 10,000. So rebate would be 11,000. Now what is rebate? Is a kind of a discount. We have seen in the earlier question also that rebate is a kind of a discount from tax. If in a layman language, you need to make someone understand what is the meaning of rebate. So rebate means discount from tax. In our question, we have discount from tax 11,000. So whatever was the tax liability on the total income, that was on 7,10,000, how much was the tax liability? 21,000. So now I can have this discount from my tax. 11,000 would be the discount and the tax liability would be 10,000 and 4% cess we need to applicable. That would be 400. So the correct answer would be 10,400. So when income is exceeding 7 lakh rupees in case of default tax regime, always you have to follow this step. And let me tell you a trick also. This will not applicable in all situations when income is exceeding 7 lakh rupees. It would be applicable if total income is up to almost 7,22,200 rupees. Up to this value, if there is in the question, income has been given up to 7,22,200. Then if you will calculate, there might be rebate. But if suppose income is exceeding 7,22,200, suppose income is 7,30,000, then even if you will calculate, there would not be any rebate. There would be cases of this one. B would not be more than A. So I have found it out that almost approximate 7,22,200. The B would be greater than A. And after that value, B would not be greater than A. So even if you will try to find it out in this case, B would be lower than A. And if B is less than A, then there would not be any rebate. In that situation, whatever will be your tax, upon that you have to applicable the cess, and that would be your tax liability. Okay. We have the solved example and question also. I have explained you, Kristin, what is the meaning of rebate. Moving on further. So the provision for rebates, now we are discussing with the notes. So these are the rebate provision, what we were discussing. Rebate for resident. Rebate for resident individuals, section 87A, what we were discussing. And it says, if income is not exceeding 7 lakh rupees, the rebate would be 25,000. That was the basic concept. Now the point number 2 is saying that even if income exceeding 7 lakh rupees, there could be a possibility that there would be rebate applicable. You have to follow these 3 steps. First step was total income less 7 lakh rupees. The value would be called A. Then compute income tax liability on the total income which has been given in question. That would be B. Then step number 3 saying if B is more than A, then the difference would be your rebate. If B is more than A, okay. And we have example also. In this question, you can see income has been given 7,15,000. Now total income is 7,15,000. Step 1, reduce 7 lakh. That would come, A would be 15,000. Then you need to calculate tax on 7,15,000. That would be 21,500. So that would be B. And now because you can see B is greater than A, B is greater than A, then the difference would be the rebate that is going to be reduced from the tax value. Balance would be your tax and 4% cess you need to apply. So this kind of rebate provision is applicable in default tax regime, not in case of optional tax regime. In case of optional tax regime, if income exceeding 5 lakh rupees, there would not be any rebate. Understand? So after rebate, the next provisions are surcharge provision. There are multiple kind of surcharge applicability under income tax rate. Let me show you with the help of a diagram. The surcharge provisions are here. The special tax rate for 25-26. This is not this. These are special rate. Let me share with you the surcharge diagram. This one. Okay. So these are surcharge provision. What we are going to discuss, and there are multiple provision of surcharge is applicable. And I have explained you in the last class what is the meaning of surcharge. Surcharge means tax on tax. So that is called surcharge. The new surcharge provision for individual HUF, AOP, etc. for optional tax regime. So we are discussing the provision for optional tax regime in case of surcharge. Case 1. So I have also explained you earlier that what slab rate we are discussing, that is for our normal income. But there are certain special rates of income like capital gain, casual income, on which there would be a special rate of tax is going to be applicable. So surcharge is based little on those concepts also. So case number 1, you have to understand it very carefully. If total income does not consist long-term capital gain 112A, section 112, short-term capital gain 111A and dividend. So if total income does not consisting these income, either all or any of them. So my income would be other than including these income. It could be salary income, house property income, etc. But these income should not be the part of my total income. So if this is the case, that these income are not the part of my total income, then surcharge rate would be applicable as follows. Let me tell you, do not bother about these 112A, 112, 111A, etc. Because we will discuss these provision in detail when we will go through with the concept of capital gain, etc. These are capital gain income, etc. So do not worry about it. Just understand if these income are not part of my total income. If my total income does not include these income. Suppose I am assessee, I earn from business, I earn from house property. In my total income, suppose my total income is 80 lakh rupees in a year. And out of this 80 lakh, there is no 112A income, no 112, no 111A, and no dividend income. Then surcharge would be like this. These are very simple concept. If it is more than 50 lakh up to 1 crore, surcharge would be 10% on tax. Okay? If more than 1 crore up to 2 crore, surcharge would be 15% on tax. If it is more than 2 crore up to 5 crore, surcharge would be 25% on tax. And if it is exceeding 5 crore, the surcharge would be 37% on tax. Tax is going to be calculated as per the slab rate. Understand? But if total income consisting long-term capital gain under section 112A, 112, or 11A, 111A, or dividend. So if any of these income is also part of my total income, suppose my total income is house property, 40 lakh rupees, and business income, 50 lakh rupees. That means total is 90 lakh rupees. Understand? Just give me a minute. Okay, so we resumed. So whatever your queries are, student, we will take it later. Okay. So we were discussing the provisions of surcharge. Okay. So in case of surcharge, suppose in the question, if my income is including only house property income and business income, and total is 90 lakh rupees. So that case would fall in case number 1. But if suppose in my income, the house property is 40 lakh, business income is suppose 70 lakh, and section 112A income is 10 lakh rupees, then as soon as any of these income would form part of my total income, then a surcharge would be calculated as per case number 2. Now, if the question falls in the category of case number 2, there would be 3 separate circumstances. According to that, we have to apply the surcharge. So case number A, please focus. If total income including these income, if my total income after including 112A, 111A or 112 or dividend is up to 2 crore rupees, it is not exceeding 2 crore rupees. So you can see in this example, my total income would be 1 crore and 20 lakh rupees. So that means this case would fall in category A. So if I have income from section 112A or 111A or 112 or dividend, and after including that income, suppose my total income is up to 2 CR, then surcharge would be as following. It says if total income is more than 50 lakh but up to 1 CR, then surcharge rate would be 10% on tax. Clear? And if total income exceeding 1 crore but up to 2 CR, then surcharge rate would be 15%. So in my example, my total income after including these income is 1 crore 20 lakh. So that will fall in this category. So surcharge would be 15%. Do not worry. I have prepared 7 examples for you. So after discussing the provision, we will solve the example also. So that would be crystal clear with you. Case B says, so case 1 was if after including my income is maximum 2 crore rupees. Case B is opposite to case number A. It says if after including my income is exceeding 2 CR or exceeding 5 CR. If it's after including up to 2 CR, this concept would work. If after including it's exceeding 2 CR or 5 CR, this concept will work. If there is no income of section 112A, 111A, 112, etc., then of course this concept would be applicable, case number 1A. So if these income has been included in my income and my income is up to 2 CR, A would be applicable. If it is more than 2 CR up to 5 CR, B would be applicable. And in this case, surcharge would be 15% on the tax of all income. So we have to calculate the tax on all these income. Whatever would be your total tax, surcharge would be 15%. If total income without considering, now this is C case. C case is other than A or B case. Now the question says, if without including these income, that means these income are there in question. Suppose Mr. B, Mr. A, whose house property income is suppose 90 lakh, business income is 150 lakh, and 112A income is 50 lakh. Now the question says we are having this special income in the question, but if without including these special income, if my other income is exceeding 2 CR, then case number C would be applicable. So if A case was saying if my normal income and these special income after including, this is up to 2 CR, case A applicable. If after including this is exceeding 2 CR, case B would be applicable. Now case C is saying if without including these income has been given in question, like in this example, this is 50 lakh rupees. So Mr. is having this income. But if without including these income, if the other income are exceeding 2 CR or 5 CR, then case number C would be applicable. So if you are having 2 crore rupees income after including it, A case. If you are having more than 2 crore income after including it, B case. If you are having income without including these income exceeding 2 crore, C case would be applicable. And how surcharge would be applicable in this case, you can see on the tax of these special income, we have to calculate the tax of these incomes separately. Surcharge would be 15%. And on other incomes, if exceeding 2 CR up to 5 CR, 25% of tax on other income. And if income is exceeding 5 CR, 37% of tax on other income need to be applied. So this is quite messy, but when you will practice, of course, you will come to know how to apply surcharge. Now we are having examples. So with the help of example, you will understand which case will go in which category of surcharge. So case number 1, example 1, other income is 70 lakh. No special income. So if no special income is there, that means case 1 would be applicable. That is very simple. From 50 lakh to 1 crore, surcharge rate would be 10%. I have also written the case, which case is applicable. First case is applicable, surcharge rate would be 10%. Now 80 lakh, and you can see these income, these special income are in the force. And now total is 2.70 crore. So after including this income, my income are exceeding 2 crore. So if after including these income, my income is exceeding 2 crore, so that would be the case number B. After including, if it exceeds 2 crore, then case number B would be applicable. So now you can see the cases as well as the question. So case B would be applicable, and in case B would be applicable, that the rate would be 15% on the tax of income. Now case 3, you can see 90 lakh is my other income, 80 lakhs are specific income. So total is 1.7 crore. So now it is not exceeding 2 CR. So after including, if these are not exceeding 2 CR, then A case would be applicable, rate would be 15%. If other income is 1.30 crore and special income are 2 crore, now 3.30 crore, again it's B case, because after including the special income, we are exceeding 2 crore, rate would be 15%. Now case number 5, other income are now 4 crore. They do not need special income of category. So they are individually exceeding 2 CR. So if they are individually exceeding 2 CR, and in the question specified incomes also given, then total is now 5 CR. But because they are exceeding 2 CR, so which case would be applicable? Last C case. So in that case, 15% surcharge would be on these special income tax, that is 1 crore, and whatever would be the tax on 4 crore, 25% would be the surcharge. Sixth case, exceeding 5 crore, another are 2 crore special income. Total is 8 crore. Because it exceeds 5 crore, so now 37% would be on that 6 crore value and 15% on 2 CR. Again, C case. Now the income is 4 crore, but there is no special category of income. So that would be the case of first case. And because now they are 4 crore exceeding 2 CR, the surcharge rate would be 25%. So you can see with the help of these examples, you can find out in which situation, which rate of surcharge is going to be applicable. So this was optional tax regime. The good news is the optional tax regime and the default tax regime, surcharge provisions are almost same. So this is the diagram for default tax regime. Only there is one difference in the surcharge provision. Under optional tax regime, the 37% surcharge rate is there if your income is exceeding 5 crore. But in the default tax regime, there is no 37% concept. The maximum rate is only 25%. So even if it is exceeding 2 CR, that would be 25%. Even if it is exceeding 5 CR, that would be 25%. So in this case, it would remain 25%. And in this last case also, when income exceeding 2 CR, then in optional, surcharge is 25 in this case. and if exceeding 5 CR, the surcharge is 37. There is no 37% in default tax regime, so surcharge would remain 25%. Whether in this C case it is exceeding 2 crore or 5 crore. In this clarification, I have also explained this. The only difference under default tax regime, there is no provision of 37% surcharge rate if income exceeding 5 CR. Other concepts are exactly the same. So that was the surcharge provision. Now we are moving on to the next concept, and that is the next concept. This is going to be rate of taxes marginal relief concept. So now we are going to discuss the concept of marginal relief. The concept of marginal relief is very interesting. So from the last 3 sessions, we are discussing the basic concept provision. We are discussing the concept of rates of taxes. And if you will see, the maximum tax rate would be 30% if your income exceeding 10 lakh rupees in case of optional tax regime, and in case of your income exceeding 15 lakh rupees under default tax regime. So technically, the maximum tax rate is 30% in this case. But concept of marginal relief does tell us something which is very interesting, and might be you won't believe that what marginal relief concept is saying would be really possible in practical life. Now what marginal relief says, okay, so the maximum tax rate is 30%. Clear? Suppose there is income of 100 rupees of Mr. A, then the maximum tax rate applicable is 30%. That means 30 rupees he needs to pay. But suppose if there is surcharge, the surcharge maximum rate is 37%. And surcharge means tax on tax. So if surcharge is applicable, assume, then we have to pay tax on this 30 rupees at the rate of 37%. So that would be 11.1 rupees would be the surcharge. Clear? Total would be 41.1 rupees. Now 4% cess is going to be applicable. And the 41.1, the 4% of this, that would be 1.64. And after including, technically, we are going to pay almost 42.74 rupees on the income of rupees 100. So the maximum tax rate, tax collection could be 42-43 rupees in case of income tax, if we are taking the highest rate of tax and highest rate of surcharge in this scenario. Now, what marginal relief says? The marginal relief concept says that suppose if this happened, what is going to be happen? That suppose your income is 100 rupees. Suppose your income is 100 rupees. And suppose the tax on this income is 105 rupees. If it happens that you earn 100 rupees income and the tax on this 100 rupees income is 105 rupees. So income tax say, no, we will not charge tax more than your income. So whatever is the difference between tax and income, that is maximum 5 rupees. We will give you the discount of this 5 rupees out of the tax. And this discount is called marginal relief. So that 5 rupees is going to be reduced out of this tax, and maximum tax would be 100 upon. Now the problem is this, how it is going to be possible? Because I have shown you that the maximum tax could be almost 42 or 43% after applying the highest rate of tax, etc. then how it's possible that in some situation my income would be less and the tax on that income would be higher? Let me tell you, we are not talking about the penalties and interest. We are just talking about the pure tax, that your income is 100, but your tax is exceeding 100. So if it happens, the difference would be marginally, and that is going to be reduced from your tax value. So the remaining would be your final tax liability. We have to apply cess on this. So that could be a very tricky thing or very confusing provision that you might be thinking, then how it is going to be possible? So this is possible in case of only when surcharge is going to be applicable in your case. So if in the question surcharge is applicable, then that could be a case in which your income could be higher than your tax. Let me show you the help of an example. So you would understand how it could be possible that your income could be less than the amount of tax. So let's take an example. Okay. So let me show you with the help of an example. Suppose in the question, there is Mr. A. His income is given 51 lakh. And question asks you to calculate marginal relief as well as tax. Marginal relief as well as tax. Clear? Now, there's a good news that if there is a question of marginal relief, the steps we need to be followed are fixed. There are fixed 3 steps we need to follow and we will get our marginal relief, and after that we can easily calculate the tax. So step number 1. First of all, we have to make 2 columns. One is for income, other is for tax. So step number 1 says whatever income has been given in the question, you have to write it down over here. So in the question it has been given that you have to calculate the tax on income of Mr. A. So if the question is silent, always take it is a resident who is less than 60 years of age. So if the question is silent about the age or the residential status, you have to treat it like a resident and less than 60 years of age. And question is asked that you need to calculate tax as per optional tax regime. Clear? So what we need to do, we have to take that income which has been given in the question, and now we need to calculate tax on this income. So if we are going with the slab rate, we have the basic exemption limit of 2,50,000 in this case. So according to that, if you are going to calculate the tax would come 13,42500. 13,42,500 rupees would be the tax. And because now income is exceeding 50 lakh rupees, so there would be surcharge at the rate of 10% is going to be applicable. That would be 13,425,000. So total tax would be 14,76,750. Step number 1, you have to calculate tax as per normal slab rate provision on the income which has been given in the question. Now step number 2. Step number 2 says, now you have to calculate the tax on that income up to which there was no surcharge concept. So upon 51 lakh, there is surcharge. Let me tell you, marginally would be only calculated, or you are able to calculate marginally if in that only in those questions in which surcharge is applicable. If income is less than 50 lakh rupees, and if the question asks you to calculate the marginal relief, you can write it down. There is no marginal relief in this situation. So marginal relief would be calculated only on those income in which income is exceeding 50 lakh rupees. Clear? So now step 1 was that income which has been given in question. You have to calculate the tax, including surcharge. Cess we will not apply. Cess we will apply always after the step number 3. So surcharge and tax always need to be calculated, and cess would be calculated at last. Step 2 is saying, now you have to write it down that income up to which there is no surcharge or the surcharge rate has been changed. What is the meaning of that surcharge rate has been changed? Suppose if in the question, the income has been given 1 crore 1 lakh rupees. Suppose instead of 51 lakh in the question, you need to calculate, you are asked to calculate marginal relief and tax on the income of 1 crore 1 lakh rupees. Suppose. Okay. Then we are going to calculate tax on it, and surcharge rate would be 15% because more than 1 CR, the surcharge rate would be 15%. That would be my tax calculation. Then for the purpose of step number 2, then we will take income 1 crore, not 50 lakh. So we have to take that income on which there was no surcharge. If this is the income on which surcharge is applicable 10%. So before that limit, what is the income up to which no surcharge is applicable? That is 50 lakh. If 1 crore 1 lakh is given, then surcharge rate is 15%. Then we have to take that income up to that surcharge rate change. So up to 1 CR, surcharge rate is 10%. So suppose if income has been given 2 crore 1 lakh, the surcharge rate is 25%. Then we have to take step number 2 income 2 crore rupees. And what if my income is 5 crore 1 lakh rupees? Then surcharge rate would be 37% in step number 1. So for step number 2, I have to take income that is up to rupees 5 crore, whereas surcharge rate is 25%, and so on. We have example of that kind. So now we will calculate the tax on this 50 lakh rupees income. So that will come 1312,500. Surcharge would not be applicable because surcharge is applicable once your income exceed 50 lakh. So now step number 1 has been done. Step number 2 has been done. Now step number 3. And it says you have to calculate the difference. Proper mathematical solution. There is no income tax concept is involved. It is proper mathematical question what we are solving. Now difference of income. The difference of income you can see 1 lakh rupees. Earlier income was 51 lakh. And now we have calculated tax on 50 lakh rupees. So the difference is 1 lakh rupees. Now we need to see the difference between tax. The tax difference is 1,64,250 rupees. Now you can see if we increase the income by 1 lakh rupees, if we increase the income by 1 lakh rupees, the tax has been increased by 1,64,250 rupees. And why it is happening? It is happening due to surcharge only. Because up to 50 lakh, there was no surcharge. Once the income increased by only 1 lakh rupees, the surcharge has been applicable with 10% on the total tax of 51 lakh rupees, not on the extra tax of 1 lakh. We are applying surcharge on the full tax, which was 51 lakh rupees income tax. So that's why it is happening that the income is just increased from 1 lakh rupees, but the tax is increased more than that. So income is less and tax is higher than this. So in this situation, government will say, do not worry. We do not do the injustice with you. We will provide you a marginal relief. And what is the marginal relief? You need to reduce this excess of income from the tax. The difference, of course, the difference 64250 would be called marginal relief, kind of a discount. And what we will do with the discount? We need to reduce it from the tax what we need to pay. So this is going to be reduced. The balance would be 1412,500. Cess 4% would be applicable on this 56500. Total tax liability would be 1469000. So that is the case. You need to calculate marginally. Again, as same in case of rebate, I have told you that up to 7,22,200 something, that rebate concept would be applicable. So it is not, I'm saying that surcharge marginally would be always applicable in this case also. No. Up to almost 53 lakh or 54 lakh rupees, might be this marginal relief concept would be applicable. But after that, of course, the income would be high, the difference of income would be high, and this is going to be low. So if that is the case, there would not be any marginal leave. Suppose, in this example, suppose this is 1 lakh, suppose, and this is only 64,250 only. Then in that situation, there would not be any marginal leave because income is higher and tax difference is lower. So what would happen in that case? This would remain your tax liability. Upon this, we have to apply the cess only. Okay. Let me show you one more example. Suppose the income has been given in the question is 2 crore 1 lakh rupee. And you have asked to calculate the tax and marginal relief. So again, if we calculate tax on this value, that would come 5842,500. Now surcharge would be 25% because income is exceeding 2 crore. So that means surcharge is 1,460,625. Then 730,3125 your tax. Now, step number 2, we need to take that income that should be up to 2 crore. That value on which rate has been, surcharge rate has been changed. So now on 2 crore, the tax would be 5812,500. The surcharge rate would be now 15%. 871875. So now total tax would be 6684,375. Now we have to find out the difference. The difference is only 1 lakh. So if difference is 1 lakh, now you find out difference of tax. Now this is 618,750. So tax difference is higher than income. This need to be reduced. Balance would be your marginal relief 518,750. What we will do with this? We will reduce it from this value. And on the balance, we will charge 4% cess. That would be my final tax liability. This is your illustration number 7 of the study material, what we just discussed. And the first example, what we have discussed, that was your illustration number 5. The marginal relief concept, illustration number 5. So we just discussed illustration number 5 and illustration number 7. These are the theoretical provision on the basis of which we were discussing concept of marginal relief. And again, has been exactly the same provision. In certain case, due to surcharge effect, excess of tax can exceed the excess of income. But as a general rule, tax cannot exceed the income. So in those cases, general rule overrules. So to nullify that excess of tax over income, marginal relief concept is applicable. So this is applicable only on individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP if total income exceeding 50 lakh rupees. Because if it is less than 50 lakh, that means there would not be any surcharge. And if there is no surcharge, marginal relief concept cannot be applicable. Because always due to that surcharge effect, the income will shoot up less than the amount of tax is going to be shooting up. In case of partnership firm also it is applicable. In case of domestic company also it is applicable. In all cases it's applicable. But in these cases surcharge is applicable if your income exceeding 1 CR. So in these cases this would be applicable if your total income exceeding 1 CR. I have made a format for you. Step number 1, what we need to do? We need to calculate tax on total income of such person as given in question without cess applicability. You have to calculate tax and surcharge, income and tax. Step 2 saying calculate tax on total income of such person. For such limit, surcharge not applicable. So that means if it is more than 50 lakh, if the income is 51 lakh, 52 lakh, then the surcharge rate would be 10% and this would be 50 lakh rupees. But if income is exceeding 1 CR, then for step number 2, we will take that amount of income up to which surcharge rate was changed. Difference of tax and difference of income we need to calculate. If your difference of tax is higher than the difference of income, then marginal leave concept would be applicable, and that difference would be the marginal leave which is going to be reduced from your tax liability. So everything has been mentioned over here. If difference of tax is not more than the difference of income, then there would not be any marginal leave. Here is a solved example also. If the income is 51 lakh 50,000, step 1 51 lakh 50,000, we have to calculate the tax. Then we need to calculate tax on 50 lakh rupees. Then we need to find out the difference. You can see the income exceed by 1 lakh 50,000, but the tax exceed by 187.50. So difference of 30,750 would be your marginally, and that is going to be reduced from the tax liability. On balance, cess is applicable. This is your final tax liability. Clear? That was our part 2. Now, before moving on to part number 3, that is agricultural income, etc. First of all, we should understand what is the meaning of agricultural income. Agricultural income concept is having theoretical as well as numerical concept. Both are in there. Fine. So what is this agricultural income? How we need to calculate tax on agricultural income? Because till now we understand that agricultural income is exempt from tax, but this is not the correct, or we can say, full picture. There is something else also. Income tax has been made a very wonderful provision to charge tax on agricultural income on those farmers. Listen very carefully. I'm not saying agricultural income has been taxable. No. Agricultural income is still fully exempt. But income tax technically differentiate between two kinds of farmers. One farmer who is only having agricultural income. So if you do have only agricultural income and no other income which is going to be taxable for you, no other than agricultural income, then there would not be any tax. No tax at all. But suppose there are farmer who is having agricultural income as well as they are doing some business also or some rented income, etc. also. In that situation, there could be an integration provision due to which there could be a taxability. But there is still agricultural income is exempt. So what are those integration provision? Before that, we need to understand something else. We have to understand what is agricultural income. It is not that simple. Generally, we think, what is agricultural income? The agricultural produced income is agricultural income only. The income which is produced by a farmer, the income from farming, that is agricultural income. It is agricultural income, but it is not only the agricultural income. So there are multiple income that could also be treated as agricultural income. And what are those income? Let's discuss those provision one by one. So agricultural income under section 2(1)(a) is exempt, but what definition of section 2(1)(a) exempted under section 10. So we are going to discuss what is the meaning of agricultural income in detail. Mr. Ayush Kumar is saying, sir, the chat is disabled for the Zoom class. Please open the chat section. After break, I will ask to open the chat section. There was some reason, so I've asked it to block, of course. Just wait for some time. I'll ask the technical team to reopen it. If you have any query, Mr. Ayush, you can ask over here on the query portal, of course. So agricultural income, the definition of agricultural income, we are going to discuss right now. So agricultural income is exempted from tax if it as per section 2(1)(a). So section 2(1)(a) is going to explain what is exactly the agricultural income. And if it is an agricultural income as per section 2(1)(a), then it would be exempt under section 10(1). Now, what is the meaning of agricultural income? Let me tell you with the help of an example. Suppose there is a land in a village. Here's Mr. A, who resides in a city. He is the owner of this land, of course. Now, Mr. A could generate revenue from using this land for agricultural purpose. Suppose Mr. A decided to do farming on this land. He decided to run farming activities on this land, and after those farming activities, he produced the agricultural produce. And that agricultural produce has been sold it to the market, and from that he earned income of rupees 10 lakh rupees. That is called revenue. So he earned revenue from this land by operations of agricultural activity. So that is normal farming income, that is agricultural income, and that is 100% exempt from tax. So one thing is, what is agricultural income? This is the agricultural income. We all know the income from agricultural produce, that is going to be exempted if this land is situated in India. Okay. Now suppose Mr. A cannot run this farming operation because he stay in his city and doing some business or job over there. But he is this land in village. So he decided to let out this land to a farmer. Now this farmer is running agricultural activities on this land, and he produce agricultural produce and sold it to the market. And suppose he generate income of 15 lakh. Now this 15 lakh is revenue from agricultural activity to this farmer. Okay? This is the agricultural income in the hands of this farmer, and this is going to be exempted. So just like first case, this was the agricultural income in the hands of Mr. A, and now Mr. A let it out this land to a farmer, and he is earning that income. So now this revenue would be in the hands of farmer is going to be exempted as agricultural income. But now you will see this farmer is also going to pay rent to Mr. A. And this rent will be treated as agricultural income in the hands of Mr. A. This is interesting. So indirectly, Mr. A helps in agricultural activity. He let out this land for farming purpose. So the farmer will generate whatever income that is going to be agricultural income, direct agricultural income. But technically, Mr. A also helps because he let it out his land to that farmer. So he also helps in this agricultural activity. So whatever rent he will receive from that farmer, whether in cash or kind, that is going to be treated as Mr. A agricultural income. If farmer let out that on rent, and if farmer is utilizing that land for any other purpose other than agricultural activities, if farmer utilize that land for any other purpose, then this rental income is not going to be exempted in the hands of Mr. A as agricultural income. So the utilization by that farmer is very important to find it out the income is agricultural or not agricultural if it is in the nature of rent. I hope you understand now. Mr. Ayush is asking, in case of partnership firm, if total income is 51 lakh, then also the problem of difference in tax and income will occur. Then also marginal leave will not be given. In case of partnership firm, that would not be applicable if income is 51 lakh because there would not be any surcharge. In case of partnership firm, surcharge would be applicable when income is exceeding 1 CR. So I have written in the marginal leave concept that in case of company, etc., that would be applicable when income exceeding 1 CR. If you'll try to find it out the marginal leave, in this case, Ayush, you won't be able to find any marginal leave, okay? Because surcharge is not there. So there would not be the case of difference of income and tax. So that was the first definition of agricultural income, and it says rent and revenue both can be agricultural income. So I have explained you that whenever you will listen rent, how it could be agricultural income. So it could be agricultural income by this way, okay? Moving on to the provisions, this has been written over here. You can see any rent or revenue. So whenever we read this word, any rent, so we confuse that how it could be agricultural income. So we have just seen that example. Dried from land which is situated in India and used for agricultural purpose. Any rent received from use of agricultural land for agricultural purpose, whether in kind or money, will be deemed as agricultural income in the hands of landlord. Example, share of agriculture produce received by a landlord is though in kind, it is in rent and thus agriculture income in the hands of landlord. The utilization of land by the farmer should be for agricultural activity. Now the term agricultural meaning, you can go through it with yourself. So agricultural does not include only the production of agricultural produce. There are some activities like packing, sorting, etc. These are the subsidiaries activities which is mandated to make that product fit for market. So the cleaning, sorting, bleaching, packing, those are activities. Those would also form part of agricultural activity. Okay, you can go through it. It's a theoretical provision, very simple. Sale of agricultural produce in market, of course, that is going to be your revenue. The second example of agricultural income is income from farm building, farmhouse. That is rental income we are talking about. So in the first case, we have understand that if there is a land from which we are receiving revenue by our agricultural operation, or if we receiving rent by the agricultural activities conducted by the farmer, they both are agricultural income. So that is for land. Now we are talking about building. Now we are talking about rent of building. So if there is a building, the rental income of that building could also be treated as agricultural income in the hands of the landlord if these four conditions are satisfied. These four conditions. So these four conditions has been satisfied, then rent from building could also be treated as your agricultural income. The building should be on the immediate vicinity of the agricultural land. The first condition, your building should be on the immediate vicinity. Vicinity means boundary within the agricultural land. So the building should be like this. Suppose it's a huge land on which agricultural activities has been undertaken. Then your farmhouse should be within this agricultural land area. It should not be like this, that agricultural land is over here and your farmhouse is 1 kilometer away or 2 kilometers. No, it should be within the boundary of that agricultural land on which agricultural operation has been carried out. So first condition, the building should be within agricultural land. Clear? The building should be occupied by the cultivator. Cultivator farmer, same thing. And this building has been let out to the farmer. The land should be outside the urban area. This building should be outside the urban area. So it should not be in the city. It should be some village. That must be a rural area. So the building should be situated in rural area. And the last condition, cultivator. That means the farmer should utilize that building as dwelling house. That means for the purpose of his family or as a storehouse for the purpose of storing agricultural produce. So either he is using it as a dwelling house or as a storehouse. All four conditions should be satisfied. All four. The building should be within the agricultural land boundary. The building should be occupied by the farmer. The building should be outside urban area. It should be in rural area. Fine. And cultivators should require that building as the dwelling house. And it should be used by that farmer as a residential house or as a storehouse for his agricultural produce. Now the question arises, what is the meaning of urban area or rural area? So that has been explained over here. Urban area means any area within the jurisdiction of a municipality or cantonment board having a population of equal or more than 10,000 and within such municipality. So if there is any area in a municipality and if the population of human beings is more than or equal to 10,000, that area would be treated as urban area. So what should be the rural area? Rural area means the area which is outside the urban area. In simple, if I need to explain or need to make you understand, the provision says if this population is more than or equal to 10,000, suppose within this area, population is more than equal to 10,000, this is urban area. This full area is urban area. And any area from this urban area after this could also be called urban area if the population is exceeding 10,000 but up to 1 lakh, then the next 2 kilometer area will also be treated as urban area. Now suppose the population is more than 1 lakh but up to 10 lakh, then the area from this 6 kilometer area also be treated as again urban area. Now this whole area is urban area. If the population of this area is exceeding 10 lakh, so if it is up to 1 lakh, only 2 kilometer would be your urban area extra. If it is up to exceeding 1 lakh, up to 10 lakh, then this 6 kilometer would be your urban area. This is urban, this is urban, this is urban. And if suppose population of this area is exceeding 10 lakh, then from this, the next 8 kilometer, my drawing is very poor, this 8 kilometer is going to be your urban area. This whole area is going to be urban area. So where my farmhouse should be? My farmhouse should be outside this, outside this, outside this. If the population is exceeding 10 lakh, there should be my farmhouse. That would be called rural area. But if any other city or any other municipality board limit has been covered this area, I am outside this municipality board. So this area I am thinking my rural area. But suppose any other municipality covered this area under the definition of their urban area. Again, this would be urban area. So I should be outside every municipality or cantonment board. Then that area would be considered as rural area. And there should be my farmhouse. We have example also for this. Just wait. Ayush asking what define an urban area or rural area? We just explained the definition of urban and rural area, and we have example and also the provisions are there. You can go through with this. The shortest distance, if the population is exceeding 10,000 up to 1 lakh, the next 2 kilometer would be your urban area. If it is more than 1 lakh up to 10 lakh, then that next 4 kilometer, or we can say total 6 kilometer would be your urban area. Exceeding 10 lakh, then the up to 8 kilometer would be your urban area. We have example also. You can see from this example, the solution is also there. If population is less than 10,000, then that area would be called rural area. So when population is 10,000 or more, then this urban area concept would increase. If the population is less than 10,000, that automatically it would be created as your rural area. Like this, you can see within 1 kilometer, if the population is 9,000. So until population exceeding 10,000, all area is rural area. Now you can see 1.5 kilometer population exceeding 10,000. That means up to 2 kilometer would be covered as urban area. So that would not be a rural area. There are multiple examples. You can go through with these. These are very simple. So the first point was any rent or revenue from agricultural operation would be your agricultural income. The second was income from farm building, or we can say rent from farm building would be your agricultural income if those 4 conditions fulfill. Now third is income includes, agricultural income includes income from nursery operation. So those are nurseries, those trading in like plants, etc. The income would be considered as agricultural income. Clear? So these were 3 agricultural income, and now the 4th one is composite business. So there are some business, those are having agricultural activity as well as non-agricultural activities. Suppose I am doing a business of producing sugarcane, and after sugarcane, I am manufacturing sugar from it. Or I have a business of production of tea plants, and after that, I am also producing or manufacturing tea. Clear? Or coffee, or I am producing coffee, roasted coffee, etc. So suppose I have business of rubber trees, and after that I am producing rubber also, manufacturing rubber and rubber items. So these are called composite business, because in these business, up to the production of agricultural produce, the activities would be considered as agricultural activities. And after that, the processing and manufacturing part would be considered as non-agricultural activities. And whatever income I will generate, now suppose I am doing a business of producing sugarcane, and after that I am processing with that in my factory and manufacturing sugar. So what is my final product? What is my finished goods? My finished goods is sugar. Whatever revenue will generate, that is going to be generated from the sale of sugar. So whatever would be my net profit from the sale of that sugar, that net profit or income consisting of 2 activities. The production of agricultural produce, that means the production of sugarcane, and the manufacturing and processing of sugar from that sugarcane. So that profit is inclusive of 2 kinds of profit. One is which is from agricultural activities, and one is which is from manufacturing activities. So these kind of business has been called composite business, and in those composite business, the agricultural income would be considered that part which is related to that agricultural activities which has been taken. So how we need to find that out income from this kind of business, that we are going to discuss later in this chapter. That is a theoretical numerical part. First of all, I was just trying to explain you what is the meaning of this composite business. Clear? Indirect connection with land, you can go through with these provision. These are examples to make you understand that what is agricultural income and what is non-agricultural income. Let me give you a very interesting concept to find it out. That we have discussed that 4 kinds of income will fall under the definition of agricultural income. One is the income of rent and revenue. Income of rent and revenue from land, which is situated in India, the first point. The second was farm, rent income from farm building, which is situated in rural area. Those 4 conditions need to be fulfilled. The third one was nursery operation, and the 4th one is composite business. Only these 4 type of business or activities will fall in the definition of agricultural income. So if there's any example which is outside these 4 definition or 4 concept, you can say that could not be an agricultural income. Like the example from your study material, X was the managing agent of a company. Okay. He was entitled for a commission at the rate of 10% per annum on the annual net profit from the company. So X is the managing agent of a company. A part of the company's income, the company is also earning agricultural income. So the company is working for agricultural income. Company is also involving in agricultural operation. And Mr. X is getting salary from that company. X claimed that since the company is generating income from agricultural income, and out of that agricultural income, company is paying commission to me. So my commission is also agricultural income. So is it correct or incorrect? So do not think about the answer without applying or thinking about the provision. So we just discussed 4 kinds of income can be treated as agricultural income. So that commission income, does it fall in any of those 4 categories? Is it a rent or revenue from land? Is it a rent from farm building? Is it a nursery operation? or it is a composite business income? None of them. So that income would not be agriculture income in the hands of Mr. X because there is no connection to that. Or we can say that does not fall in the definition of agricultural income. So whenever you are being asked any question to identify whether these activities are agricultural or not agricultural, like somebody is asking dairy farming income is agricultural income or not, there were questions in which it has been asked that dairy farming income is agricultural income or not. So how this is connected to my agricultural income? Does not fall in those four categories. So you can answer no, it is not the part of my agricultural income. So these are example. You can of course solve it by yourself. Examples of agricultural income, non-agricultural income has been given over here. Now the concept which we are waiting was integration of agricultural income with non-agricultural income. In the starting of this agricultural income concept, I have told you that if you are a farmer who is not having any other income, in that case, this concept would not be applicable. This would be applicable only if you are having some agricultural income and some non-agricultural income, like composite business case, that could be a case, or a case in which you are involved in agricultural activities, but you are also having rental income from any house or any capital gain income or any salary income or any other business you are doing. So if there is an assessee who is having agricultural as well as non-agricultural activities, in that case, integration concept could be applicable. Ayush is saying, the concept of rural and urban area is not considered for the rent of farm land time. The concept of rural and urban need to be considered for the purpose of rent from farm building. It is not applicable for point number one for the purpose of rent and revenue of land. So it is not applicable for land, but it is applicable for building case only. Very good question. So I guess we need to go for a small break, and then when we will resume, we will discuss the integration concept, and then we will go forward. So Manishi, can we go for a break? ओके, आप चैट बॉक्स भी ऑन कर दीजिए बच्चों को शायद। वेलकम एवरीवन। सो chat box we are opening, so if you have any query you can send me. Okay, there is message from Mohammed Shoaib. So today's CA inter result came out and I passed taxation with 43 marks, so I cleared both groups. Congratulations, Shoaib. Thank you so much for your classes, your guidance. Thanks to BOS made this possible. Yes, BOS doing a lot of work for you guys, and congratulations, Mr. Shoaib. Okay, Mr. Abel George, I'm a student of yours. I cleared intimate both group from ICAI classes. Very well done. Congratulations, Mr. Abel George. I really very happy to see that the students are actually moving to their goals, what they want to achieve in your life. Congratulations. So you can send your queries in the chat box now. We were discussing the provision of agricultural income. And now we have moved on to integration of agricultural income with non-agricultural income. Of course, there would be a story at the end of this session, which we have missed out in the last session. So integration means combined agricultural income with non-agricultural income. Okay. Good evening, Aditya. Okay. Yes, I can see your messages. Students, if you have any query, now you can send it to the chat box. I will answer your queries. Sir, in ninth example, 9 kilometers and population 15 lakh. It's more than 8 kilometers, then how it could be agriculture income? So after if your population is exceeding 10 lakh, then maximum 8 kilometer could be regarded as an urban area. Anything after that 8 kilometer part, that would be regarded as rural area, and rental income from that can be taxable as, cannot be taxable as non-agricultural. It would be only agricultural income. Understand? Next is so now the condition which are important for applicability of this integration provision, we are going to discuss agricultural income with non-agricultural income. So we can do this concept if all these three condition has been satisfied. Condition number one, it says this is applicable only for individual HUF, AOP, BOI and AJP. So this integration benefit can only be taken by if you are an individual HUF, AOP, BOI and AJP. The agricultural income must exceed 5,000 rupees. Your agricultural income must exceed 5,000 rupees and your non-agricultural income must exceed maximum amount which is not chargeable to tax. That means basic exemption limit. So these three conditions need to be satisfied. Let me show you with the help of an example. So the condition, this is applicable only for individual HUF, AOP, BOI and AJP. The condition number two is your agricultural income should exceed 5,000. And the third condition, that your non-agricultural income should exceed the basic exemption limit, which could be 3 lakh in case of default tax regime, and which could be 2.5 lakh or 3 lakh or 5 lakh under optional tax regime. It depends. Okay. So if these three conditions has been satisfied, then we have to calculate tax with the help of integration of agricultural income with non-agricultural income provision. Let me give you an example. Suppose there is a case of Mr. A. Suppose Mr. A is there. He is having agricultural income 5 lakh rupees. And suppose he is having non-agricultural income, 15 lakh rupees. Age is 40 year and resident. So let me show you that if this integration provision is not there, then how we are going to calculate tax in this case? So of course, in the examination, you have to apply the integration provision, but let me show you if this integration concept is not there, then what is the difference between this integration concept and non-integration concept? So you will come to know why income tax has been introduced this provision. So suppose there is no integration concept, then how are we going to calculate tax on this? So if there is no integration, then what will happen? Agricultural income is going to be exempted, 5 lakh rupees. It is going to be exempt. We need to calculate tax on the non-agricultural income only. The tax on 15 lakh we have to calculate as per optional tax regime. We are solving this question as per optional tax regime. So up to 2.5 lakh exempt, etc. So up to 10 lakh rupees, your tax would be 1,12,500. And excess of 10 lakh, that is 5 lakh rupees, the rate would be 30%. So that would be 1,50,000. So that would be 2,62,500 rupees. Your tax would be 2,62,500 rupees. No rebate would be there because income exceeding 5 lakh rupees, and no surcharge because income does not exceed 50 lakh rupees. But there would be cess at the rate of 4%, that would be 10,480. After including it, my tax liability would be 272,480. So this is when there is no integration concept is there. But actual mein we have to calculate tax as per the integration concept. Now you can see the difference. So in this situation, assessee needs to pay 2,72,480 rupees if there is no integration concept. Now, if integration concept is applicable, all the three condition has been satisfied. It is individual case. The agriculture income is exceeding 5,000, non-agricultural exceeding the basic exemption limit, which would be 2,50,000 in this case. Clear? Mr. Shri Hari is saying, sir, integration is an indirect way of taxing agricultural income. We cannot say like this. Agricultural income is still exempted, but it is a concept by which your income could be taxed at a higher rate. Okay. So in case of integration provision, if these three conditions has been fulfilled, then how we need to calculate tax under integration? The step one says, calculate tax on agricultural as well as non-agricultural income, assuming both are non-agricultural. So you have to calculate tax on agricultural as well as non-agricultural, assuming that the total income is non-agricultural. Suppose there is no agricultural income, but you have to consider that agricultural income. So in our example, agricultural is 5, non-agricultural is 15. So now assume your total income has been given in question 20 lakh rupees, and that is non-agricultural. So you have to calculate tax on this income. So if the income is 20 lakh rupees, the tax would be 4,12,500. Clear? The tax would be 4,12,500 rupees in this scenario. No surcharge would be applicable. Rebate we cannot apply in case of integration in step number 1 or step number 2. Rebate can only be applied in case of integration provision after step number 3. And of course, cess and rebate would be applicable after step number 3. If surcharge would be applicable, we are going to apply it over here. But because income is not exceeding 50 lakh rupees, so we cannot apply the surcharge. So step number 1, what we need to do, we are not doing any other concept. We are just need to follow specific steps. So in first point, we just need to calculate tax, assuming that the agricultural and non-agricultural, both are non-agricultural income. So we just need to calculate tax as per the normal slab rate. Assume your income is 20 lakh rupees and you need to calculate tax on it. So the tax would be 4,12,500. Now step number 2. Now it says, consider the agricultural income and the basic exemption limit. Now calculate tax on this total. So in our question, agriculture income is 5 lakh and basic exemption limit is 2.5 lakh in this case. So total income, now consider this income as your non-agricultural income. In first example, consider full income as non-agricultural, calculate tax. In second step, take the agricultural income and take the basic exemption limit. And now assume this 7.5 lakh as your non-agricultural income and calculate tax upon it. So if my income is 7,50,000 and if now I need to calculate tax upon it, the tax would be 62,500. Clear? So if we calculate tax as per normal slab rate, up to 2.5 lakh is exempted, upon balance 2.5 lakh 5% and balance 2.5 lakh rupees, rate would be 20%. So now step number 1, we need to calculate tax on the full income. On step number 2, we need to calculate tax on agricultural plus basic exemption limit income. Assume that full income as non-agricultural. So that would be my tax. Now step number 3 is very simple, 1 minus 2. So we need to reduce 1 minus 2. So the tax would be 3,50,000. After step number 3, now you can apply the rebate concept or the education or health cess. So rebate concept would now we can apply. And rebate concept says if your total income is up to 5 lakh, then you can claim rebate in case of optional tax regime. So if your total income up to 5 lakh, so for the purpose of rebate, total income means we have to find it out the non-agricultural income. This 5 lakh limit need to be checked upon non-agricultural income, not on agricultural. You need to see if your non-agricultural is up to 5 lakh, then you can claim the rebate. But in our question, the non-agricultural is 15 lakh rupees, which is more than 5 lakh. So there would not be any rebate. So rebate would be applicable depending upon your non-agricultural income. If it is up to 5 lakh, you could claim a rebate. So there would not be any rebate in this case. Now we apply 4% cess. That would be 14,000. So the tax collection would be 3,64,000. Now you can see, if this integration concept was not there, the government will receive only 2,74,480 rupees. But due to the applicability of this integration concept, now the tax collection would increase. Now you will recover 3,64,000. So now you can see that due to this 364 and that was 272,480, almost 91,520 extra tax collection has been done by the income tax department by applicability of this integration concept. You cannot say that we tax the agricultural income. In this case, the agriculture income was exempted. In this case, also agriculture income has been exempted. What income tax explained? Income tax said, we calculated tax on 20 lakh rupees income, which was 4,12,500. So of course, farmer will oppose that this is wrong. Why you taxed my agricultural income? Because according to you, my agricultural income is exempted. So income tax say, okay, we will give you the benefit of tax of that agricultural income. So income tax calculated tax on agricultural income and basic exemption limit. So the tax on agricultural income plus basic exemption limit is 62,500. So what income tax does? They say, okay, we taxed your agriculture income in this value. So now we calculate tax on your agricultural income and the basic exemption limit income. And now we reduced your tax of agricultural income from your total tax. So we are going to reduce from total tax, reduce your agricultural income tax. So what is the balance? The balance would be on non-agricultural income tax. So it's okay. The farmer said, okay, fine. The agricultural income tax has been reduced from the total tax. So what is the balance? Balance is the tax on non-agriculture. But why this tax collection has been increased now? Due to the benefit of slab rate, it happens. Why it is happening? Let me explain you. It is not required for your examination, but why the tax collection has been increased? In both cases, technically, we cannot say that we taxed agricultural income, full exempt. And in this case, we reduced the tax of agricultural income. So technically, we did not tax it. But how tax collection increased or why tax collection increased? Because when we tax this agricultural income in step number 1, the tax is charged at the rate of 30% because it is excess 10 lakh rupees income part. So the tax technically has been charged at the rate of 30% on this 5 lakh. That would be 1,50,000. But when we reduce the tax of this agricultural income, then the tax on this would be charged 5% on some amount and 20% on some portion of this 5 lakh rupees. So we charge with full rate of 30% due to that slab rate concept. But when we reduce the tax, then that 5 lakh rupees has been charged at the rate of 5%, some part, and some part at the rate of 20%. Due to that taxability difference, the tax has been increased. Now let me tell you, students, that's why it is applicable only on individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, because only in this case, slab rate concept is applicable. If this is the case of partnership firm, there would not be any difference whether you solve it without integration concept or you will solve it with integration concept. Of course, in the examination, you have to solve it with this condition because integration concept is not applicable in case of partnership firm. But you will see if you try to solve this question, assuming that this is a question of partnership firm, then the tax, no indexation, no integration concept, and the tax after applying integration concept would remain the same. Why? Because there is no slab rate. The 30% would be the at a time of taxability and reduction of that tax also with the same 30%. So 1,50,000 would be add back at the time of calculation of step number 1. And for step number 2, 150 is going to be reduced. So there would not be any difference. So integration is not applicable in case of partnership firm, company, etc. Those cases in which there is no slab rate concept applicable. So I hope you understand what is this integration concept. So these are the conditions, these are the steps, what we have discussed: computation of tax on total income, including agricultural income, computation of tax on agricultural income plus maximum amount not chargeable to tax. That means basic exemption limit. Step 3 is 1 minus 3. Rebate would be applicable and cess would be applicable then. Note is explaining when rebate is going to be applicable. Step number 1, step number 2, tax calculation without rebate. 87A rebate of 12,500 or 25,000. And rebate of 12,500 will be available after step number 3 liability if normal total income. Normal total income means non-agricultural income. So if non-agricultural income is up to 5 lakh or 7 lakh for default tax regime, you can claim the rebate. Again, when that is a question of default tax regime, and even if income exceeding 7 lakh, you can apply the rebate if that income is up to 7,22,220. I told you that 7,22,200, but the exact value would be 7,22,220. After this income, rebate concept would not be applicable because the B would not be greater than A. That was a case of agricultural income. Naveen is asking, sir, how to find the population rate while calculating? That would be given in question. What is the population? That would be given in question. Aditya is asking, sir, if tomato farmer is directly selling tomato in market to customer, it is agricultural income. If tomato farmer is directly selling tomato, if he produced that tomato and he is going to sell into the market, that would be his agricultural income. But if he does not produce, he purchased from a farmer and then going to sell in the market, that would be a trading income. That would be taxable income. So if you are producing something and you are selling that agricultural item, that would be your agricultural income. Okay. Now the last concept of basic concept is composite business case. So what are composite business? We have discussed the businesses in which there is agricultural activities as well as non-agricultural activities has been included. How to calculate those agricultural income in that business or non-agricultural? So for that purpose, we are having 4 different rules. So suppose if I am involved in the composite business of rubber, I am producing rubber plant and extract rubber, natural rubber from that plant, and from that natural rubber, I produce product, manufacture product, and sold them into the market. Then whatever profit I will earn, that is the composite of both activities. Plantation of tree till the production of those rubber trees. That would be the part of agricultural income. And the remaining would be non-agricultural. So whatever profit will be given in the question from that rubber business, the specific fixed percentage has been prescribed by the Income Tax Act. 35% of that income would be considered as non-agricultural and 65% would be covered as agricultural. Fixed rate. Suppose 10 lakh rupees net profit has been earned from composite business of rubber. Then out of this 10 lakh, 3.5 lakh would be non-agricultural and 6.5 lakh would be agricultural. This is going to be exempted. This is going to be taxable. But let me tell you, if this is a case of individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, you can see agriculture income in this case exceeding 5,000 and non-agricultural is exceeding 2.5 lakh basic exemption limit. Then if the question asks you to calculate the tax, then don't do that this is exempted. This is only taxable. No, because in composite business, you have agricultural as well as non-agricultural income. And if you are individual HUF, AOP, BOI, etc. And if these 3 conditions has been satisfied, then you have to calculate tax with integration provision. What generally happen in these kind of question, if this kind of question has been asked in the question paper or examination. So what we think, okay, 3.5 lakh is exempted and balance is taxable. So let's calculate tax on 6.5 lakh, but you forgot the basic idea because in this question, we have agricultural income, non-agricultural. If you are an individual, tax would be calculated as per integration provision always. Understand? If you are doing a business of coffee beans, so coffee is like 2 kinds of production, coffee beans or roasted coffee. So if you are selling into the market coffee beans, in that case, the net profit of that business is, of course, again, composite 2 kinds of activity, plants of coffee, production of plants of coffee, that would be the part of agricultural activity, and manufacturing coffee beans for the purpose of sale in market, that would be the non-agricultural. 25% would be non-agricultural part and 75% would be your agricultural activity. Again, if in the question, profit has been given 100 lakh rupees, 25 would be non-agricultural, 75 lakh would be agricultural. And if they ask you to calculate tax, integration provision would be applicable. If you are in the roasted coffee or tea, then the percentage fixed is 40%, 60%. Understood? These are fixed percentage. If in the examination on question, the amount has been given, then you can separate that amount in this specific percentage. And then you can calculate tax if the question asked. Now, problem is there that only for these three business, this percentage has been defined. There could be multiple more business in which this composite activities has been undertaken. Like as I discussed with you, the business of sugar cane. And from that sugar cane, if I am producing sugar, then what percentage should be there for agricultural and non-agricultural, that has not been defined. So for all other composite business, rule number 7 has been made for all other business. If the business is rubber, coffee beans, roasted coffee or tea, then we have a specific percentage. The profit would be given, or we need to calculate the profit, and that combined profit need to be proportionate in the above percentage which has been given. But if there is any other business which is other than this business, then rule number 7 would be there to solve and to find it out the agricultural and non-agricultural income separately. The market value of agricultural produce utilized will be deducted from the sale price of finished goods. So the rule number 7 is very compact and it does not explain in detail that how we need to calculate agricultural and non-agricultural activity for other composite business. So we have example and I will show you how to calculate for any other business. So now you can see the example. Cost of cultivation of sugarcane. So cultivation means production of sugarcane. So the cost of cultivation means up to sugarcane production, the expenditure what we have incurred. Processing cost, we assume it's for manufacturing purpose, from sugarcane to sugar. Finished goods is sugar, so the sale price of sugar is suppose 50 lakh has been given in the question. And if we do not convert those sugar cane into sugar, if we do not convert or process or manufacture that sugar cane into sugar, then we could sell that sugar cane in the market at 25 lakh rupees. So actually or practically what we have done, we have produced sugar cane, we have manufactured sugar and we have sold it for 50 lakh rupees. But if we do not converted that sugarcane into sugar, then we could sell those sugarcane also in the market. So that's why the fair market value of sugarcane has been given in question. And it would be given in all questions that if we do not go for non-agricultural activity, then our revenue from sugarcane could be 25 lakh rupees. Now suppose question say calculate tax on this. So if there is any other business except those three for which specific percentage has been given. So for the purpose of finding out agricultural income or non-agricultural income, we have to prepare two trading and profit and loss account or whatever it is. We have to prepare two financial statements. One is to find out our agricultural income. Prem Kumar is asking, sir, how you calculated tax 62,500 in step number 2? In that integration question, I guess total income was 7,25,000 in that question. It was 725. Let me see. In that paper, just let me see that. What was that income? Yes, that was 7,50,000 income was there. So on 750, if you calculate tax as per optional tax regime, up to 2.5 lakh tax would be nil. The next 2.5 lakh tax would be 5%. That means 12,500. 5 lakh has been consumed. The remaining 2.5 lakh going to tax at 20%. So that would be 50,000 tax. So that's why 62,500, Mr. Prem. I hope it's clear. Okay. So for the purpose of this case, we have to prepare two trading and profit and loss account, or we can say two financial statement. One is to find out the profit from agricultural activities, and one is from the manufacturing activities. Now, let me give you a trick. Let me tell you a trick by which you can always make this financial statement correct. When you will make the financial statement for agricultural activities, fine. When you make financial statement for agricultural activities, always presume yourself as a farmer. Just suppose you are a pure farmer. You just produce sugarcane and you are going to sell those sugarcane in the market. Just forget about this manufacturing activity. When you preparing financial statement or when you are going to find out the income from agricultural activity, here is a trick from my side. Always assume yourself as a pure farmer. Just forget about that you did manufacturing of sugar. You just suppose yourself that you are a farmer, you produce sugarcane and you are going to sell those sugarcane in the market. So by assuming yourself as a farmer, now we will take the things which is relevant for our agricultural operation or as a farmer. So would cost of cultivation would be the part of my financial statement if I'm assuming myself as a farmer? Yes, I will assume my work was for production of sugarcane and I sold those sugarcane in the market. So cost of cultivation would be my expenditure. Would processing cost would be the part of my expenditure? No. Processing or manufacturing would be the part of non-agriculture activity. And I am assuming myself as a farmer. Sale of sugar would be the part of my revenue? No. I am considering myself as a farmer. So cost of cultivation would be my expenditure. And if I would have sold those sugarcane in the market, that FMV would be my sale price. So that would be 25 lakh. So both the expenditure and income from agricultural activity we have considered in our this agricultural activity financial statement. So the balance would be my profit. So this would be my agricultural income. Clear? Now again, the same trick. When you are going to solve the financial statement or when you are going to find out the profit from non-agricultural activity, you need to suppose yourself as a pure businessman, that you did not produce the sugarcane. You went to the market, you buy the sugarcane, you take those sugar into your factory, you process them and you make sugar and you sold it into the market. So now when we are going to find out the income from non-agricultural activity, now assume yourself as a pure businessman who does not cultivated sugar, who does not cultivated sugarcane, who purchased those sugarcane from the market. Now, would cost of cultivation would be the part of this financial statement? No. Processing cost would be the part of this? Yes. Manufacturing cost 15 lakh. Sale of sugar would be the part of this? Yes. Now, how we process without the purchase of raw material? So purchase of raw material, that would be sugarcane. That is also required. So this value would be go in both financial statement. When we are discussing about or we are solving the agricultural income, then this would be the part of revenue. And when we are making a financial statement for non-agricultural activity, then these sugarcane FMV would be the part of cost, and that would be 25, because without raw material, what we will process. So now you can see the net profit is 10 lakh. That would be non-agricultural income. So that is going to be taxable. This is going to be exempt again. If the tax required to be calculated, and you can see if that's a case of individual, you can see your agricultural income exceeding 5,000, your non-agricultural exceeding basic exemption limit. So you have to calculate tax as per integration provision. So always remember, whether the case of composite business or any other case, if there is agricultural income, non-agricultural income, individual HUF, they are satisfying three conditions, you need to ask calculate tax, then you have to apply the integration provision. Don't miss that. Okay. So those were the provision. I always advise to all students, please follow this. Revise twice, That's my advice to make you wise. So if you are able to revise your subject, your chapter twice, then it's a very high probability that you will be able to clear your group or your subject or your, of course, level. So please try to revise your concept, revise your chapter, revise your, and even revise the practical question. So that would really help you at the time of examination. Let me see if there's any query for solve. There is no more query. So now we are going to solve some question from your, of course, study material. And MCQs would also be there. There are some special rate I was talking to you that those were the basic rates, what the slab rate we are discussing. But there are some special rate on section 112, what we were discussing today in case of surcharge. So there are some special. This is section 112, then we have section 112A, then we have short-term capital gain 111A. So these are having multiple special rate. These are going to tax at 15%, 20%, 10%, 12.5% in different scenarios. So these kind of rates going to be discussed under capital gain chapter, and we are also having some specific rate on casual income. The tax rate in casual income is 30%. So we are not going to discuss those special rate in this chapter because we have to understand what is capital gain first. Then you will able to understand how to apply the tax rate. Okay. So moving on to our study part. Second. Okay, so we are going to discuss some illustration question from Test Your Knowledge. Illustration number 3, you can see the total income of Mr. X has been given 16 lakh rupees, and this is income from house property and interest on fixed deposit. Why this has been written in this question? Because we do not know about the special rate of income tax. So this has been specifically given that this is normal income on which you have to apply the tax on the basis of slab rate. That is section 15 BAC, you have to calculate the tax. So you can see the rates we have already studied. First 3 lakh out of 16 lakh nil. Then 3 to 7, the tax would be 20,000. 7 to 10, the tax would be 30,000. 10 to 12, that would again 30,000. Then up to 15 lakh, it would be 60,000. I have told you up to 15 lakh, the tax would be 1,40,000 in case of default tax switching. And it is over 15 lakh, the rate would be 30%. So that would be 30,000. Total tax would be 1,70,000. Always follow this format. Tax minus rebate plus surcharge plus cess. Always calculate tax like this. So in this question, the tax is over here. So if you follow this format, then automatically you will recall the provision of rebate and you will not mistake of skipping any of the step. So now when you write it down rebate, so in this question it is not applicable, but make a habit of always write it down your tax calculation in this format. Surcharge again not applicable because it's less than 50 lakh. Cess would be applicable and this would be my total tax liability. Illustration number 6 exactly is having the same income of 16 lakh rupees, but you have to calculate tax under optional tax regime. Assuming if that person is 45 years, 63 year and 82 year. So under all three categories, in this case, basic exemption limit would be 2.5 lakh, 3 lakh and 5 lakh. Solution is there. So you must have already, I believe that you must have solved it in the last sessions. And we are having surcharge provisions and the chargeability of marginal relief. So marginal relief example, 51 lakh, we have already solved. So this is the 51 lakh rupees. You have to calculate the marginal relief. And there are two methods has been presented in the solution. One is this way and the second is alternative method. So I have solved with the alternative method. So the method I have shown you in the notes and we just solve this question with this alternative method. This is more easy and I guess easy to understand also. So kindly solve these questions with alternate method. That would be really easy to you. Again, the illustration number 6, again for marginal relief under default tax regime. Again, you have to calculate the tax on marginal relief of 2 crore 1 lakh rupees. That also has been discussed with you. Then again, a marginal relief question when income is 5 crore 1 lakh rupees. So you can go through, you can practice these questions. So it would be really easy to understand these concepts. As much as you practice, you will be expert in this. So now these were the tax rates of company, etc. We have already covered all these things. Now moving on to the test your knowledge questions. These are integration provision question. Agriculture income, non-agriculture income. You should practice all these questions. If there is any problem in any question, you can ask me in the next session. Now moving on to your test your knowledge question. Initially, 5 questions are theoretical based. Question number 6 is for agricultural income and question number 7 is also for agricultural income. Let me tell you a very interesting thing. The question number 6 says, Mr. Sumit, a resident Indian, earned 15 lakh from sale of rubber manufactured from latex obtained from rubber plants grown by him in India and 20 lakh from sale of rubber manufactured from latex obtained from rubber plant grown by him in Malaysia. So what is his business income? So the rubber plant income which has been conducted in India would be the agricultural income and that would be the part of composite income. Out of this composite income, 35% would be his non-agricultural income. But whatever agricultural operation has been conducted outside India, that is in Malaysia, that would not be treated as agricultural income at all. The agricultural income would be treated as agricultural if it is in India. So this 20 lakh would be fully non-agricultural income. So 35% of 15 lakh and full 20 lakh would be his total income liable to tax. In the same way, question number 7, almost same. Question number 8 is very interesting. I would like to ask you the question number 8. So I'm reading it for you and then I will ask the correct answer of this question. This is for HUF. The Jain HUF, Jains are treated as Hindu in Assam, comprises of Mr. Suresh Jain, his wife Mrs. Sapna Jain, his son Mr. Sarthak Jain, his daughter-in-law Mrs. Preeti Jain, his daughter Miss Seema Jain, and his unmarried brother Mr. Preetam Jain. So which of the members of the HUF are eligible for co-parsonary right in this case? So there are total 1 person, second, third, fourth, 5, and 6. So there are 6 individuals. Out of these 6 individuals, who could be treated as co-parsoner? So let me see. Kindly answer in the chat box. It's a very interesting question. Let me show you that question so you can find out the answer. Mr. Ayush Kumar is saying, in practical life, the FMV can be very debatable. So yes, in practical life, it could be debatable, but in the examination and question, FMV would be given in question. Okay. Gururam Charan Sai is asking, what is FMV? FMV is fair market value of that product. Sir, why there is special provision made only for coffee, rubber and tea? Is there any reason? Like the law we have to follow, Shri Hari. So these three provision has been made. There could be any reason and we are not the lawmakers. So why lawmakers has been made only these three product, the fixed percentage and for others that has been rule number 4. That there could be any reason because if you ask why rebate is 12,500, why the basic exemption limit is 2,50,000, why it is 3 lakh per senior citizen, so there could be some reason, but that would be with the lawmakers. We cannot debate, we can just presume why it has been made, but we do not have anything concrete regarding this. And of course, in the examination, there could not be ever a question that is asking why this concept has been made. This could not be asked in the examination. Okay. Aman Patel is saying, sir, in step number 2 of integration, is tax 62,500 is fixed? No, Aman. In step number 2, we have considered the agricultural income, which has been given in question 5 lakh, and the basic exemption limit, which is 2.5 lakh. So my total income would be 7.5 lakh. So we have to calculate tax on this 7.5 lakh. That is 62,500. It is not fixed. Suppose in the same example, my agriculture income was 8 lakh instead of 5 lakh. Then what we do in step 2? 8 lakh plus 2.5 lakh. That is 10 lakh 50,000. Then we find the tax on 10 lakh 50,000. That is going to be step 2 tax. Clear? Mrs. Priya Mishra is asking, sir, I want to ask if we calculate surcharge or rebate after applying tax rate, what is the chronological order? Tax rate, then surcharge, then rebate, and then cess. I have just explained you the format. You have to follow that format, Priya. Okay. So Vijay Kumar is saying, unmarried brother, Mr. Preetham. Okay, let me see. One, 3, 5, and 6 are co-partner according to Ayush Kumar. Bhumika is saying Sarthak, Seema, Suresh, and Pratham. Okay. Gurugram Charan Sai, why should we do the integration for the last problem, sir? Preeti and Preetham are co-partner. Suresh Jain and his brother. Okay. So the correct answer is only Suresh and the Preetham could be the co-partner. Why? You may miss this concept that we are talking about Assam. Assam and West Bengal is having Dayabhaga School of Law. Under Dayabhaga School of Law, only the father or his brother could be the co-partner because son, daughter could be the co-partner only after the death of father. So in this case, Mr. Suresh and his brother could be the co-partner. It's a very interesting question. Now these are questions from, you have to calculate the marginally in question number 9. You have to calculate question number 10. We all have solution of these questions. 10, 11, you have to solve it yourself. If there will be any problem, that I would be there to solve for you. Okay. MCQ question I am going to upload on the portal. You can solve those MCQ question also. Almost 30 to 35 MCQ question. I will upload them with answer. If you would have any problem in those questions also, so I would be there to solve it for you. So next is Let me show you what kind of MCQ sheet you will get. So there would be question, and I am going to upload all those questions with the answer sheet so you can see what is the correct answer, and if is there any confusion, then I will definitely going to answer in our next class. Before closing the class, there would be, of course, interesting story for all of you. Do not worry, I did not forget that. So the story is very interesting. So the provisions or the story goes like this. Just a second. The story would be in Hindi, of course, as usual. तो एक बार की बात है, एक किसान था, अपने गांव में रहता था, एंड ही नीड्स अ हेल्पर फॉर हिज एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोड्यूस, फॉर हिज कैटल्स एटसेट्रा, फॉर जो भी वो काम करता था उसके लिए एक हेल्पर चाहिए था जो उसके एनिमल्स का, उसके पेट्स का ध्यान रखे, उसके एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस को सेफली रखे, जो उसके पास बहुत सारा वुड था उसको बारिश में संभाल के रखे. सो ही स्टार्ट टेकिंग इंटरव्यूज ऑफ लॉट ऑफ पर्सन, एंड उस इंटरव्यू में उसने एक पर्सन को सिलेक्ट किया. उसने कहा मैं आपको अपने यहाँ काम पे रखता हूँ. सो उस पर्सन का इंटरव्यू हुआ एंड ही गॉट सिलेक्टेड. बट हुआ क्या, सिलेक्शन के बाद वो पर्सन जब गांव में जाता था और बाकी लोगों से मिलता था तो सब उसको पूछते थे कि तुम क्या काम करोगे, कैसे काम करोगे. तो दैट पर्सन यूज्ड टू से टू एवरीवन दैट मेरे को काम की कोई टेंशन नहीं, जब भी बहुत बारिश होगी, तूफान होगा, आई डोंट केयर, मैं उस वक्त आराम से सोता रहता हूँ. मुझे बारिश में, तूफान में सोने से कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती. आई वुड लव टू स्लीप व्हेन देयर इज हरिकेन और टाइफोन और रेन एटसेट्रा. तो जो गांव वालों को ये बोलता था, उन सब ने जाके उसके ओनर को ये बताया कि आपने जो रखा है अपनी हेल्पर को, वो ये बोलता है कि वो तो तूफान में, बारिश में सो जाता है. तो अगर वो बारिश तूफान में सो जाएगा तो फिर आपका सारा एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस, आपके जो कैटल्स हैं, आपका जो वुड है, आपका जो भी सामान है, वो सारा तो खराब हो जाएगा. तो उसके मालिक को बहुत टेंशन होने लगी कि ये तो बड़ा अजीब है. और सब लोग यही बोलते थे सेम चीज आकर उसके बारे में, कि जब भी तूफान आता है ये कहता है मैं तो सो जाता हूँ. तो वो बहुत टेंशन में था किसान के, जब तूफान आएगा ये सो जाएगा तो मेरा पूरा बिजनेस खराब हो जाएगा. बट उसने उसको कुछ नहीं कहा. अब एक दिन क्या हुआ, एक रात को, कि जब किसान सोने जा रहा था तो बहुत तेज बारिश होने लगी, तूफान आ गया और बहुत तेज हवाएं चलने लगी. तो उस किसान को याद आया कि जो मेरा हेल्पर है वो तो कहता है सो जाता है, तो चलो मैं जाके चेक करता हूँ. तो वो भागा भागा गया उस हेल्पर का जो उसने रूम दिया था वहां पर, और उसने देखा वो आराम से सो रहा है. और उसने उसे जगाने की कोशिश करी काफी. तो उसने बोला नहीं नहीं, उठा ही नहीं. उसने बोला मैं तूफान में कभी नहीं उठता, मैं सोता रहता हूँ. उसके सामने बहुत मेहनत करी उसे उठाने की, लेकिन वो नहीं उठा. किसान को बहुत टेंशन हुई कि अब तो मेरा सारा एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस खराब हो जाएगा, मेरे कैटल्स का क्या होगा, और मेरे वुड जो रखा है उसका क्या होगा. तो वो भाग कर गया अपने स्टोर हाउस के पास देखने के लिए कि उसका जो सारा सामान है वो कैसे है. उसे लगा मुझे ही सब कुछ पैक करना पड़ेगा. तो जब वो वहां पहुंचा तो ही सॉ कि उसका सारा सामान बहुत प्रॉपर तरीके से रखा हुआ था, कवर्ड था. उसे बारिश तूफान से कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, सब कुछ बहुत ही अच्छी तरह टाइट करा हुआ, बहुत अच्छी तरह कवर्ड किया हुआ, प्रॉपर तरीके से रखा हुआ. वो वापस से भाग कर गया अपने कैटल्स के एरिया में जहां उसके कैटल्स रहते थे. उसने देखा वो कैटल्स भी सब बड़े आराम से थे, वहां पर उनके लिए प्रॉपर खाना, वाटर, फूड सब प्रॉपर रखा हुआ था, और वो भी पूरी तरह सुरक्षित थे. देन ही वेंट्स टू सी दैट जो उसका वुड रखा होता था, जो उसके काम के और सामान थे, इक्विपमेंट्स एटसेट्रा, वो भी सब बहुत सेफली रखे हुए थे, प्रॉपरली, सेफ्टी से, सिक्योरली. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंड, सुबह जब हुई तो वो अपने उसको बुलाता है, हेल्पर को, और उसने कहा कि तुम तो तूफान में सोते हुए सबको कहते थे. तो कहता मैं बिल्कुल सही कहता हूँ, लेकिन मेरी आदत है कि मैं तूफान से पहले तैयारी करता हूं। अगर मैं तूफान के टाइम पर ही या रेन के टाइम पर ही कोशिश करूंगा तो कुछ ना कुछ प्रोड्यूस तो खराब हो ही जाएगा, और हो सकता है मैं उस टाइम ना कर पाऊं। इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल कि उस पर्टिकुलर टाइम पर जब एक्चुअल में रेन है और हरिकेन है और टाइफोन है, उस टाइम में अगर सच में कोशिश करूं चीजें मैनेज करने की, सो दैट वुड नॉट बी पॉसिबल। तो मैं अपनी प्रिपरेशन पहले से करता हूं, और मैं सबको यही बोलता हूं कि मैं तूफान में सोता हूं बिकॉज आई हैव डन माई होमवर्क, आई हैव डन माई हार्ड वर्क अर्लियर देन दैट। तो एग्जैक्टली हमें भी वही करना है अपने एग्जाम के लिए। एग्जाम तक का वेट नहीं करो कि एग्जाम से एक महीने पहले पढ़ेंगे तब अच्छी तरह पढ़ेंगे। सो यू अंडरस्टैंड योर एग्जामिनेशंस आर लाइक दैट रेन और दैट हरिकेन और दैट तूफान, एंड यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर बिफोर इट। अगर अभी से डिसिप्लिन से पढ़ोगे, अभी से डिसाइड कर लो कि आई विल रीड फॉर दैट मच आवर, मुझे अपना कोर्स इस टाइम तक कंप्लीट करना है, रिवीजन यहां तक करना है, उस रिवीजन को कंप्लीट और कोर्स को कंप्लीट करने के लिए हाउ मच आवर आई नीड टू स्टडी। A simple question has been asked to me multiple times, sir, how much hour we need to study? So there is no specific answer because we all have different kind of brain, we all have different kind of strategy, our memory, etc. I can tell you one thing, that you have to plan your study like this, that before examination, at least 1 or 2 months before examination, your syllabus should be completed. And you have to go for revision at least twice. And for that purpose, for that completion, how much hour you need to do study, that depends upon you. So you makes your longer plan and that your shorter plan, that if I need to complete my syllabus till May, then at least I have to study this much hour for a day, and just follow that with a lot of discipline and focus. So do not wait for the tufan or hurricane or rain. You have to prepare before that. Let me tell you, when I was giving my C examination, after I gave both group intermediate together, I cleared it first attempt. So when I gave examination of my first group and I came back from that college, that center, my friends asked me, okay, how was the examination? Now what will you do? I said, my first group is going to be cleared. I am sure about it. I am going to prepare for my group 2. And after group 2 examination, I told them that I am going to clear both my group. I am going for final preparation now. So that is not that I am that intelligent or something. We need to do hard work. I was a very average student, but I was a very hard worker. I understood that thing, that we should not wait for the examination. You should follow that disciplined life of study for this kind of CA profession, regular basis. So focus on that study, be disciplined, and definitely you will be a chartered accountant very soon. If I can be a chartered accountant, you could also be. I am the example of every student who can complete this course in very short time if they have discipline and ready to do hard work. No other choice, no shortcut. So please, according like that helper, you have to prepare for examination before that examination is going to be there. And then you can easily give your examination and definitely you will be successful in that. So now we will see each other on next session, in which we will discuss the provision of residential status. Okay. So till that, please study hard and focus. So Mr. Manish, can we close the session? Thank you. Good night.